What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button because that is the most important thing you can do with me on this channel. What it does is that it helps make sure that those who are subscribed to the channel will indeed get the notifications, and it also helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well. Secondly, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you've been ghost watching this channel for quite some time now, please do me a favor and yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And lastly, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends to inform them on this news and information. And yes, that does also help to give me a slight boost in the YouTube algorithm also. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we are headed to Maryland because what I want to do is take a moment to report on a situation that occurred in which last Friday, an El Salvadorian illegal immigrant named Victor Martinez Hernandez was charged with the brutal murder of Rachel Morin, who was initially reported missing on August 5th of last year after she went for her morning hike, to where her boyfriend then put out a missing persons report because she never returned. And then the next day, they found her body on that same trail. Well, since then, Mr. Hernandez has now been charged with first and second degree murder, first and second degree RAPE, and first and second degree assault. And get this, Victor Martinez Hernandez is also wanted in his home country of El Salvador for the homicide of a woman over there.
I lost my train of thought.
Does he have connections to any of these areas?
The investigators are working that. We certainly know he has connections down in the D.C. area, both Virginia and Prince George's County. But again, as he moved around the country, there were places that we believe he probably had associates, and he has ties to known gangs. So we believe that's how he lived his life.
You mentioned a few, but how many total crimes or victims are police aware that this man?
That's where I was going before. We fear all the time, the investigators fear that we're going to stumble across another crime that just hasn't been tied back through DNA or some other science or electronic, tie, that the evidence just hasn't reached the point where we get a hit. But right now, what we're familiar with is the crime in Los Angeles, the home invasion in March of 2023, the homicide here of Rachel in August of 2023, and I believe in Tulsa he's facing some local charges as well for last night. I think trespassing or disorderly or something to that effect. We're not familiar with any other. I'm not familiar with any other charges.
El Salvador.
No, in El Salvador there is a what's it called, a red notice? A red notice, which is basically an Interpol warrant for his arrest to bring him back there to stand for the homicide of the woman in that case down there.
Also, ICE has recently confirmed that Hernandez entered into the U.S. as a, quote, got away on or around February 13th of last year near El Paso, Texas. And speaking of gotaways, to date, it has been estimated that under the Biden administration, 1.8 million gotaways have come across the border under his watch. And now, speaking of Biden, as of now, his administration will not say whether it plans to contact the family of the Maryland mom who was murdered by the illegal immigrant who came in as a gotaway under Biden's watch due to his open border stance. Now, what I want to do here very quickly is just go through this article that's titled, Biden administration won't say whether it plans to contact family of Maryland mom allegedly killed by illegal immigrant. Now, let's go through this very quickly just to get a little bit more detail on what's going on with this situation concerning the Biden's administration's refusal to say whether or not they will or won't contact the family. The Biden administration will not say whether it has plans to reach out to the family of Rachel Morin, a Maryland mother of 5, who was allegedly RAPED and murdered by an illegal immigrant last year. Randolph Rice, an attorney for the Morin family, told Fox News Digital on Thursday that Patty Morin, Rachel's mother, had yet to be contacted by any officials from the Biden administration. Fox News Digital reached out to the Department of Homeland Security and the White House seeking information on whether they plan to make contact with the Morin family after Patty Morin told Fox News Channel's Lauren Ingram on Wednesday that no one from the administration had contacted her or her family about the death of her daughter. No response has been given to Fox by the White House or DHS about Morin's comments or whether they are planning to contact the family. The White House has offered condolences to the loved ones of Rachel Morin in a statement this week, but would not say what steps it would take to secure the border when asked by a Fox News digital reporter. Now, here's a direct quote from a White House spokesman who stated, "We extend our deepest condolences to the family and loved ones of Rachel Morin. We cannot comment on an active law enforcement case, but fundamentally, we believe that people should be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law if they are found guilty." And that's a pretty generic response coming from the Biden administration, but that's to be expected, right? And I'll get into why that is in a minute. But now let's get into where former President Donald Trump comes into the mix, because as it states here, Rice told Fox that former President Trump reached out to Patty Morin on Thursday morning and that the two had a 20-minute conversation about her daughter. Patty Morin said in a press release offered by her attorney that she was deeply touched by President Trump's kindness and concern. Now, in closing, it's not surprising to me at all whatsoever that the Biden administration is refusing essentially to reach out to this woman, to this woman's family, I should say, because the reality is this: the life of this woman who was lost by the hands of an illegal immigrant who was on the run for a homicide that he committed in his home country in El Salvador, the blood is on Biden's hands due to his open border stance. How many stories have we done like this concerning murders, robberies, thefts, assaults, SA? We all know what SA means, RAPE. We've covered so many stories like this coming from illegal immigrants who have crossed the border under the Biden administration. These aren't even long-standing illegal immigrants that have been here for years. These are all people who have just come here within the last 2 years or so. We cover these stories over and over and over again, and it is clearly due to Biden's open border stance. So during an election year, when he really doesn't have a leg to stand on concerning the border because he has been so laissez-faire about it throughout the entirety that he's been in office, of course, he's not going to call Patty Morin up, who is the mother of the victim, Rachel Morin. Clearly, he's not going to call her up to say anything to her over the fact that there's a strong possibility that he may actually get cursed out by the mother. And he doesn't need that kind of press on his jacket. Whereas to the flip side, of course, we would see President Trump reach out to the mother to console her and to take some time to speak with her and console her for her loss, because he's the one who is about closing the border. He's the one who is about stronger border law policies. He is the one who is for mass deportations. He is the one that if he remained president, we wouldn't even have a migrant crisis to begin with, to which Victor Martinez Hernandez would most likely have never even made it up this way to America. Him, like many others, have only fled to this country because they know the Biden administration is soft on illegal immigration and is soft on deportations. And as I've stated on so many different occasions, these 1.8 million gotaways who have come into the country are clearly criminals. Why do I say that? Because if you have nothing to hide and you know that when you cross the border, all you have to do is turn yourself in, lie and say that you're seeking asylum, and you'll be sent to New York City where they'll prop you up in a 5-star hotel with room service. If you know that's the case and all you have to do is turn yourself in, then why in the world would you evade that? Why would you evade Border Patrol and become a gotaway when you could have easily just turned yourself in and been placed up in a 5-star hotel somewhere in New York or Chicago? What that tells me is that you came into this country fleeing crimes that you committed in your homeland just to be in America and commit those same crimes here, as Victor Martinez Hernandez has done, allegedly. And with all that being said, that does it for today's news. So please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends. And also don't forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram is in the description box below and will be pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. And until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.